Hello, YouTubers, and welcome to a best of one Strixhaven Draft on MTG Arena with your host, Travis Semulin Sowers. Chat, say hello to YouTube. If you'd like to watch the stream, you should do that. You can do so at www.twitch.tv/Semulin. I've had a lot of people tell me how powerful the Professor of Zoomancy is, and it does really look good in this pack. Nicholas, thank you for the bits.
Hello, YouTube.
Like, you don't have to convince me very hard that I should play Lorehold. I want to play Lorehold anyway. I want to play the correct version of Lorehold, which, as I've played with it more and more, my infinite Lorehold decks are actually not all that great. Like, it makes me sad, and I hate it, but you need to play aggressive Lorehold decks. The best card in this pack is between the Kelpie Guide, Emergent Sequence, and the Pledge Mage. I think I'd like to try to draft a regular Lorehold deck if I can. Thank you very much for the hype train, folks. I really appreciate the support. It means a lot, especially when we're doing these subscriber drives. I'm going to take the Spirit Summoning. Don't judge me. Okay. Here, I think we take the Environmental Sciences because it's looking like this isn't actually really open, but if I have Environmental Sciences, I could splash this pretty easily. Right? Like, we could get into a Prismari deck. We could get into pretty much anything we want. Because, like, I'm going to try really hard to play this Hoffrey. It's also possible that, like, Lorehold is actually open, which is fine, right? Like, we could take a general here. This pack may not even have anything that's competing with it, eh? Like, what's the best card here? Maybe Negate, maybe the Professor, maybe the Poet. Probably not the Blood Age General. But, like, there's nothing here that we're going to miss. So I'm going to take the General and see if we go somewhere. If we don't, like, whatever. And now we're starting to get some hints. Because Bookworm is really good. Blood Researcher is really good. So it's that age-old question. Do we force Offrey, or do we just abandon it and try to, like, make a Bookworm deck work? Because I like Tome Shredder. I like Tome Shredder a good bit. It's fifth pick, Andy. I think I know where I'm going. And I think it's red something. I don't know red what, but it's red something. It could be blue-red, but that's fine. It's fine. I think Lorehold may actually be open as well. And I think I may be able to wheel that Divine Gambit. But I want the Igneous Inspiration when I've got this many of these here. So now we've got a Fractal Summoning. So what if we were blue-red, splashing Hoffrey? The problem is Hoffrey really wants to go with non-tokens. Hoffrey doesn't want to be in a deck with a bunch of spells and a bunch of nonsense. Yeah, I think we're going to go in a different direction with this. I do love one Archivist. You guys and gals know that, but Academic Dispute is pretty dang good too. Okay. But how are we going to get card advantage is what I want to know. Because having the Hoffrey in the deck doesn't super help us. Okay, that's how we're going to get card advantage. We're going to play Prismari Splash Hoffrey. And we're going to be more interested in creatures than your normal Prismari decks. Not so interested that we're passing this negate, because I'm playing negate too. But we found our lane. This makes me more interested in cards like, well, probably a Lorehold Campus. I don't know that I need two of these. But the bird that does the thing would be even better here because it can die into a bigger bird. Why so obsessed with Hoffrey? Have you read it? It's a 5-mana 4/5, great stat line. It pumps all your spirits, pretty cool. And it says if you're going to kill any of my creatures, you have to kill this one first because all of them die into a copy of themselves if you don't. Exclamation point card Hoffrey. It is sometimes difficult to draft and let you read all the cards, for which I apologize. And I know YouTube wants some of that too, but like there's no reason you're reading this book. There's no way for you to read this book while I'm thinking about what we're picking here. I'm trying to decide if we could fit Rise of Extus in here. I don't think I actually can. We would certainly play a Pigment Storm. We would probably play a Quandrix Apprentice. Expanded Anatomy could be useful too. Wormhole Serpent could be useful. I think Wormhole Serpent may be my go-to here. Because I should be, with Hoffrey, focusing more on the creatures and less on the other things. Could have had 2 Bookworms, but you know what? I'm okay with it. I am very okay with it. I don't need another wonderful 5-drop. Although I'm still kind of interested in another wonderful 5-drop. One of the reasons I like the Wormhole is if Lorehold does open itself up this way, I could still splash that in the Masterpiece off of the Environmental Sciences and just not play these. But I'm getting to the point where we've got to make some real decisions. What's up, Dave? I think this is the last 5-drop I can take, but I'm still going to take it. But like, we'd need some sort of indication that we should actually swap into a more Lorehold-focused deck. And I think we're getting that with Star Pupil. This card is really good in a Lorehold deck because you can move the counters from this to your Blood Age General and kind of build your own 3/3, which is a very powerful stat line in Magic. Splash the... No. We're not splashing the command. We're considering splashing the Masterpiece, but we're not splashing the command. So do we think we can wheel that? Because I want the Pilgrim. I'm taking the Pilgrim. It is unfortunate to pass Cody here. Cody's good, but we've already got a build around that's really good. Okie dokie. So we've got Piggy Storm, Historian, Study Break, Lorehold Excavation, all of these things that we're interested in. I think I can wheel one of those 2 excavations, and I'm going to take the Piggy Storm. I am not British, no. Tome Shredder's not bad with these disputes. Now all we need is an elephant. I'll cut the Wormhole Serpent, and we're done. I could sort of see this guy making it in here. I could sort of see a Pledge Mage making it in here, but I want to have access to an Annihilation. Expanded Anatomy I like. I would actually probably play Revitalize in this deck, but I don't need to. I don't mind 2 Piggy Storms. Right now I've already got 3 things to get and 3 ways to get them. I might see another Anatomy. That's a lot of 5-mana spells. We're probably just looking at something like this now and maybe considering that for a splash, maybe not. Because this mana is getting pretty intensive. Pigment Storm ain't bad. You could almost play this dude in here, but I don't think it'd be very good. We might have room for a study. And I spun the Lorehold Excavation. Cool. I think I'm pretty happy playing that too. So normally I would be all about let's get us an archivist and do some nonsense. That's the third bookworm we've seen for reference, but I think Combat Professor's kind of pretty good here. And I think filling a spot that we're pretty interested in having filled. If I've got a powerful card and the deck is interested in spinning its wheels a little bit anyway, I'm not opposed to a Revitalize. I think Revitalize can just go in most Lorehold decks, unless you're being a hyper-aggressive Lorehold deck. And this one is going to look to win through attacking, not through, like, combo nonsense. Like, this is not my jam. This, however, is confusing. I don't think that's reasonable for me to put in here, but I may also just take it anyway, because I'm not playing the rest of this. And it's gems. I mean, hell, I could be convinced. I think Prismari is more open too, but we have a ha free. Ha free. What if we were just playing two of these? It would suck to lose this guy. But if we're playing those two, all of a sudden I get Negate, Expressive Iteration, a Time Warp, and this. I mean, this looks pretty good too, don't it? Yeah, I really don't feel like blue's open for us. Well, what we really need is some frogs, but I don't think I can take it over the Emeritus Archmage here. It's always frogs is always what you want. So this triggers on Cleric, Druid, Shaman, Warlock, or Wizard. We got Shaman, Wizard, Spirit, Dwarf, Shaman. This is just not triggering on any of our cards, realistically. I could probably get away with a Quandrix Pledge Mage, but we're almost there on playables. Like, I could just jam a Curate in this and be fine. Yeah, but our blue's so good now I don't care, right? I don't know. Do you guys want to copy a Lorehold command? Do you want to copy a Time Warp? That seems like it might be good to me. Nah, okay. We don't have to. Ooh, I want it. I don't need it, though. I need to be a grown-up because I don't need that. You know, it's not crazy to take the frog, because what we're vulnerable here to is a little bit of early aggro. I do need another 2-drop. Well, prep coin's here. I'm going to take the frog. Better mana or another lesson? I've got enough lessons. It's always good to have better mana. Hey, look, we get a lesson anyway. Poor Archivist. Nobody loves him. What's up, Grixis? If you're not main decking frogs, what are you even doing in this format? I don't really understand. That probably still shouldn't be here, although I don't really think we can capitalize on it. I could play it, but I don't see a compelling reason to. Man, all the frogs. I don't actually want the frogs. Sorry, frog boy. You got upgraded. Although one could argue that the Blood Age General, but no, we should still keep the Blood Age Generals because it could do something with Hoffrey, and I do have a couple spirits hanging out here. I still don't understand why this isn't a Spirit Wolf or why it isn't named Toby. I'm wondering now if we need the Wormhole Serpent to close out a game. Because if we don't need the Wormhole Serpent to close out a game, I'm freeing up some extra space in the stack for a little bit of extra early defense. Like the Bullfrog Befuddler. Or realistically, even like this on 4. That could make the splash even more trivial, and it's pretty trivial. I don't think it's an 18-land deck. We have an Environmental Sciences, and we've got plenty of stuff to do early game. I think I actually dig the artist here, because this makes the splash easier. It makes ramping to this a little more reasonable. Casting these 5s at a time will the impact and or having enough mana left over for Rutha reasonable. Is cutting for Combat Professor not worth it? A lot of the power of Combat Professor is that you can play it on turn 4 when you have another creature in play and get in extra damage that they weren't expecting while still having a blocker. And if we're splashing for the Combat Professor, we're much less likely to be able to do that. Because I think I'm only playing 1 Plains in this deck. Which would theoretically give us 4 sources for these 2 cards, right? Because ideally we could use this to go find the Plains. We could use this to make a token. If we had to, we could discard the Masterpiece if we really needed one of these casts. So technically I'd have 5. And that gives me enough of my main colors that I think we can actually play. Because if I'm going to be looking to play Expressive Iteration early to find stuff, we're probably going to want to have access to blue early. We may need the Frost Trickster. We're going to want double blue for this. Double blue for the Time Warp. It seems like this is where we want to be. So this gives us 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And that would leave me room for 7, 8 blue, which sounds fantastic. Let's do that. We'll go on a tour of Amonkhet with our blue lands. Done. And just to kind of disguise our intentions, we'll go with some Witherbloom sleeves. That'll show them. They'll never see this coming. Alrighty, let's buckle in and see what we got here. That doesn't mean that you couldn't play Combat Professor here, just that I don't think I'd like to. Should have done the red, white, and blue. Maybe we should have. I moved the computer to a new room in the house. We had a basement tenant for a while. She moved out and we're not looking to get a new tenant immediately. Like, may as well take advantage of the space, and it's pretty cool down here in the summer. And I got a giant desk. I had been basically streaming on a child's desk for the past 5 years, where it barely had room for my keyboard and a mouse. But I've got so much room here. I can stretch out my arms. I can't actually touch the edges of the desk. It's pretty great. What's up, Exploded? How you holding up, bud? I mean, this is just solid value. I don't have to be too greedy. Doing good. Doing very good, my friend. I think it's a workout. That makes me a bit sad. Let's put this one in our hand. Put that one on the bottom of our library. No, I never need double blue. I never need triple blue. It's a little unfortunate we're going to take a bigly hit here. Yeah, we demirred to 7. Ouch. This at least gives us a couple blockaroonies. Potentially. I guess we could have the arena music playing if I'm not doing the OC remix stuff. I was using that. Pardon me. All right, let's try to play catch up here. Because I doubt they want to intro to Annihilation either of these. Although they're certainly welcome to. That's not very nice. I don't want to go to 4 against a red deck. I want to top deck a land and have this covered. But we are not yet there. I didn't want to be tempted by the Orik. And yet we were. That's funny. They're probably sitting on 4 land thinking, man, I need to draw another land. And I'm sitting here on 6 thinking, man, I need to draw another land. Ouch! That's almost deadly due. Mind Control is a fair and balanced magical card. Dustspeaker ain't gonna do it, is he? So what would we need to do here if we wanted any hope of living? I guess chump block this dude and then just die. Yeah, I ain't drawing nothing that's going to get us out of this. I think there were a few turns where if we'd drawn the extra land for the masterpiece, we were in it, but then we didn't. Makes me sad. I think that shock really wrecked us. Because if I'd gotten 1 token off of that Kiln Artist, we could have started doing things. How busted would Kiln Artist be if it was a 2-mana 1/1? Probably pretty busted. All right, I believe. This has the cards in it we drafted the deck to get. Place one of them in your hand. That one. One in your library. That one. And exile one. That one. I really need to hit another land. Neat. Wouldn't even mind another land. They're looking to do some big mana things. And now the question is, can you kill Joffrey right now? It's lethal next turn too, and I don't have to risk losing him to an expel. Bye-bye. Like, when you've got 3 points of burn there at 3 and a Wrath doesn't stop you, your deck has done what you wanted it to do. Dream Raiders does not appear to be down for me, so I'm going to fire off our battle here. Chop all these things up. Turns out when we draw the cards we picked early, it's pretty good. It might even carry us up 11. No, that's streaming too big. Busting out of jail. Kill the slime buffalo. Reap the rewards. Man, this slime buffalo hit like trucks. So do these dudes, the orc sheriffs. A beacon of frontier justice. You got to be careful about busting barns in Orc Town. but not that careful. We got him. Adam with the kills, Miklas with the assists. Rewards for Fort, Yak, Cosmere, Zibby, and Adam. Well, let's keep going, get that blue chest, shall we? I will lead the way. This expansion does seem very melee friendly. Like, you don't want your armored units. The ranged units are just kind of okay. It's like, yo, level up your berserkers, your barbarians, and your warriors. All right, this is significantly less exciting than the other one, but if I can draw a land into a learn spell, this can do the thing. This is a much scarier keep than our last hand. It got a bit better. All right. I expected them to trade that. I guess the likelihood of them having a spell on turn 3 after they've double Prismaried Apprentice ties would be somewhat high. I guess we racing then. Don't kill Mahafri. No Piggy Storm for you. You do not have Pigment Storm. It's not in your deck. You certainly can't play it now. So constrained on red mana. Multiple choice is real good. Might they just be dead? Time Warp's pretty good, huh? They're dead. They're at 9, about to take 9. I have no idea why they have priority here. I guess they went into full control so they could do this. Which is fine. Do what you gotta do, man. I mean, it made me real happy. They kind of made my day. I got to flick a crying hedron at them while they're roping. I wondered what the crying hedron emote was for, and now I know. It's for that. When someone is doing the rope of salt, you just boo-hoo-hoo. Oh, time warp, saving my bacon. Like it's 1998. When was I playing Tempest? I think it was 98. I kind of want those two, Techno Shaman. Can you still buy them? Because I might. October 97. The good old days. I may have to look, because I think those would be useful. Right now, though I'd like to draw cards and do things, I think a 1/3 looks pretty good. Hey, look at that. It prevented 2 damage. We'll take it. So we got to chain into removal spells. There's no removal spells I could draw that do anything on 2 mana. But there are removal spells I could draw that do things on 3 mana. So let's give ourselves as many looks as we can get at that. Or have them kill this and then do it. That's fine too. We'll put Time Warp in hand. Put Academic Dispute in exile. I really hate doing this, but I'm going to have to trade these. Because we may be cycling Time Warp next turn. Or we might be doing that. Alright, so if I play the Lure Hold command, I will have 1 mana left over and cannot do anything else with it. But when they attack, I can kill this, block that, take 2, probably survive, then Blood Age General Time Warp, and then see what we're looking at. They also can't have a combat trick, but I mean, they can't have a combat trick. That would suck. You may as well fire off the time warp first. I'm going to need to draw a way to deal with that combat professor, and I'm most likely to get that with the dust speaker. Because there's a non-trivial amount of cards that just kill me from here. But I have to deal with this thing now. And there's like not a whole lot I could draw that would just straight up do it. You know? However, Scooch, we're still sort of into it. We do die to Crushing Disappointment. Sadly, that card's real good. It was not a load-bearing Hoffrey. Razor-thin margins are keeping us in this game. How crazy would it be to annihilate that? It's pretty crazy. But it would give me 8 and then 10 if they don't do something. I think this is how we close out the game if we close out the game. I don't know that we close out the game, but I think if we do, this is what it starts to do. I don't eat tuna. Why do you believe we're going to win? Because you're watching Travis. I am kind of short. Which means the standing desk doesn't have to go up very high. Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening now. I thought if we won the whole draft, we might go up 11 points. But I would imagine in the entire world, DJ, there is probably at least one other person who likes hot sauce on their tuna. No, we lost pretty hard initially. I think our first round was a loss. I don't remember which one it was, but we've had at least one loss. I tend not to pay too much attention to the record. I just keep playing until I can't play anymore. I didn't think they'd trade those. I have watched Mystery Science Theater 3000. Like, what is it, laugh tracks or riff tracks? I don't remember. There's a better version of it where you don't have to deal with all the robot herpaderp. Like, I don't care about who Corvo is dating this week. Can't copy it like that, but I want to. Can't do it this way either. Maybe we just wait till next turn to play out a bunch of creatures this turn. Well, if there's a gas shortage, I could help them out because I have been farting all day. Thank God the gain on this microphone isn't turned up or your ears would be ringing. I don't eat much yogurt. It's not for me. Dutch did on occasion sound like a trombone. I drank, what's that tea? Fermented tea? I drank that one time and that gave me a week of farts. Yeah, that stuff. That was not good for Travis's. I may want to scry now. Nah, there's still too much stuff I could draw. Like, obviously that wasn't it, but... I mean, it seems hard to go wrong with that. I mean, this kind of sucks, but that is currently killing me. They're going to have something better to kill me with, though. So let's give it one more bloody turn. This can get me a 4/4, which in conjunction with these two could answer that. So we can take one turn off on that. Yeah, if they could have a bookwork. There's so many better targets for this. If my board can possibly deal with this, I would like for it to. I should probably just cast the 4/4 now, though. So that next turn I can have an intro and negate up. Like, it puts us at 8, which is a precarious life total to be at, but it does give me a plan for double blocking. The downside is they could kill it now. Okay, so we're gonna have to fire off our Introduction to Annihilation there and hope they don't have a bookworm. Because that's gotta go. No. You're going to draw a card and you're going to like it. Top is bad. Top is real bad. We don't like top. Because that's going to get him one of them fractals. Oh, that I don't care about so much. Want to just play the pillar drop? I mean, yeah. You got any more of them fractals? I kind of like them fractals. Seems like we turned the corner. I've got a time warp in the graveyard now. Second time today. Hail Satan. All right, let's do our Stream Raiders battle. They wanted to kill that because the time warp is got to be terrifying at that point. Also, I could just get the Lorehold command back and do it all over again. Like at that point, they were well and thoroughly dead. Like, it is difficult to imagine a series of events that gets them out of that. I've still been playing Legend of Keepers off stream. I should probably stream that at some point. I am having fun with the game. Adamaniac with the kills, Wee Wizard with the assists, rewards for Lazy Jim, Zibby, Samsa, and Adam. I can't tell if it's actually a game or just a movie that I'm sort of interacting with. But it's sort of like Darkest Dungeon-esque. Except you're playing the bad guys. You're filling the dungeon in with monsters. I mean, if you're not going to play your Templar when the undead pop out, what are you even doing? It's kind of fun, but it also seems like at a certain point you're not making decisions. I don't know. It's weird. I'll play it for 10 minutes and really enjoy it. And then after 30 minutes, I'm like, am I having fun? And then after 40 minutes, I'm into it again. And then after an hour, I'm like, I want to go outside. And I never want to go outside. Yeah, Darkest Dungeon had this punishing element that I liked. Like, after you play through all the initial quests in Legend of Keepers, you get to go into infinite mode, where you try to, like... That's where the actual difficulty and punishment for losing sets in, but I haven't gotten that far, because that's the part I want to play, and it's like, I don't really want to play this other part and do these stupid quests. We beat it on stream. It was difficult and quite rewarding. All right, one in your hand, that one. One on the bottom. Oh, this is tough because I actually want both of these lands. But this hand is more interested in... I guess I could discard the Masterpiece if I have to. Blaze, thank you for the sub. Y'all spam some cats for Blaze. Thank you very much. Thank you, Blaze. I believe you. Do you remember what it was called? Something Deception. I played whatever Dungeon Keeper 2 was, and it was a little fiddly. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it either. I mean, it was basically themed dungeon, wasn't it? Oh, I liked Populous. I liked Populous a lot. I spent many evenings playing the Genesis version of Populous. Something about young Travis just enjoyed being a god. Man, if we can hit a couple more lands, we are looking pretty. It was pretty difficult to understand, but after playing with it for a while, I got kind of into it. There we go. Now I feel relatively safe. Because if I can hit one more, we can just take over. I'd really like to be able to cast one of my 5-drop spells and have negate up. So I'm still not terribly convinced we're going to try to do anything right here. But now we can start thinking about it. So I should probably just negate this, eh? Because I could make this guy indestructible. They're still going to get the card, though. But I could make this guy indestructible, kill this, make a 3... Like, we could copy this with Rutha. I think that's actually better. Well, the problem is if I copy it, I don't get to change the words. It just copies twice. But it is still killing 2 things and keeping my dude. It's a bit of a problem. Because I can't Piggy Storm it. I also can't hold up negate with this line because we're short on mana, so I may just have to double Piggy Storm the damn thing. Ugh. That's a problem right there. But it does lead towards me being able to actually stop the thing. Still wouldn't mind another blue. Well, hey, look at that. I could time warp and get something back and then next turn cast it. Elemental Mastery looks pretty good if they don't have a counter spell. Let's see if this resolves. I have a feeling it's not going to when the game's over. All right, so we've got 5, 6, 7, 8. if I cash this in for the Elemental Mastery and draw a land for the turn, that's what gets us out of this, right? I have to draw the land, though. But it can be any untapped land. That is not the untapped land I need. So what if we Piggy Storm the 4/4, play a 2/2 to chump? I still can't do that and hold up negate. So I think they're just going to counter this and we lose. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Too many piggies, not enough storms. And this was not a great. It was a mediocre. That's pretty good, though. That's what we wanted to... So when you're thinking, Travis, why were you so worried about having negate up? This is why. So if this Blood Age General had been a swamp, I think we can win that game. It was not a swamp, so we cannot win that game. Lame. 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 I have no idea, John. I'm not even paying attention to the number. It was funny when it hit 666. And if we can get to 420, that'd be swell too. But I don't understand the yo-yo point system. So we hit Mythic the other day. The queue times in Best of 1 are more fun. It seems like it always waits exactly 1 minute and then pairs me with somebody in gold. Alright, if this ain't a good hand, the deck's terrible. Which it might be. But I still haven't copied a Time Warp yet. We have to do it once first. A little nervous about attacking with Rutha, but I think I'm still supposed to. If they untap and expel it, I'll be sad, but then they won't have the expel later for Poffrey or whatever. Wouldn't mind hitting a couple lands in a row if you're thinking about it. That got scary all of a sudden. They got real scary all of a sudden. You gotta have time to copy Time Warp. What time do you think we have? Oh, God. Oh, no. No, 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 no. That's so much damage next turn. And I can functionally ignore it all if I can get to a white source. I think I'm supposed to Time Warp. Play the land, move. We got a lot of things we could hit. Blood Age General is not one of them. The iteration might get things started. One into your hand, okay. One into the bottom of your library, okay. Exile one, that one. Figure it out. Was not expecting Rutha to live through the turn. It's okay. Oh, this hurts. Oh, this is so bad. Why is it so bad? I had so many turns. I took so many turns. And they weren't good enough. I had so many turns. Oh, sadness ensues. All right, well, that does our YouTube draft for today. YouTubers, thank you for tuning in. If you would like to watch the drafts live, you can do so at twitch.tv/Semulin and hang out with all these cool people here. You can watch us not copy Time Warp and draft Mythics and lose. It's pretty cool. We did get our 4 wins, though, which is basically still in it, right? Like, we're getting most of our gems back. We got some packs we can open, and there's like 5 cents worth of gems in each pack, which is pretty cool. So we can keep going. We can keep going. Anyway, I'll see you next time, YouTube.